Welcome to the Lone Machinist podcast, a podcast where it's just you, your tools, and the work. No team, no backup. I'm Jamie from JSpec Engineering, and every episode we're tackling the highs and lows of flying solo in the machining world.
And I'm Curt from Confounded Machine, here to chat about everything it takes to make it as a one-man show in the shop. From grinding and turning to the struggles of running a one-person operation, we're sharing the stories, the tricks, and the challenges that come with going it alone.
If you're out there in the shop grinding away by yourself, or just thinking about taking a solo plunge, this show's for you.
So throw in your ear protection and let's talk about life behind the machine.
Oh, Kurt, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. How you doing this evening, Jamie?
Yeah, carrying on. Finished machining 100 bits and bobs and now doing the second and third ops, halfway through that, and then stopped for dinner and podcast.
Nice. Yeah. Well, it's the first time I can be doing our podcast without a sweater on because finally summer is here. So yeah.
Yeah, till it snows, you get another light dusting.
I think we're good. I'm going to say it. I think we're good now. It's like 17 degrees today or something. It's going to be lovely.
Well, we had a cold weekend. I wore long pants.
Ooh.
Yeah, my neighbor's wife's like, "Are you feeling okay?" Because I never wear long pants, but I knew I was going to be in the workshop and there's a through breeze if I have the back door open. So I'm like, just wear long pants and be comfortable. I then ended up in the roof in long pants. But, that was
nice.
Less than pleasant, but I did some fancy stuff in my roof, which I'm sure we'll dive into later on in the podcast because it is one of my topics.
I saw some of that, so
yeah, it was great fun. So yeah, what have you been up to?
Oh, nothing. Launched all the Canadian pens this weekend. Did a first come first serve sale. Those were snapped up with the quickness, so I will definitely be building more of those. Oddly enough, I didn't get any. Usually every drop I get some form of hate mail or messages or someone lights me up somewhere, but this one was pleasant, so it was kind of nice. I now just kind of cower away from the internet for like a day or two after sales just to avoid like any of the weirdness. But yeah, everyone was cool, so that's kind of cool. I keep saying it's because it was only open to Canadians, but
yes, you guys are polite AF.
Yeah, that makes the American people a little testy. So we'll just say that it was just chance.
Yeah, well, America, North America, same thing. Although after this week, sure. But I think we'll leave that for next week's. Once we know a little bit more, let's leave it for next week.
Sounds terrific. Yes. Ugh.
Things escaped from my desk to the downstairs.
Yeah, but how's been your day today?
Been running the same parts for like 3 days because I keep getting distracted or doing family things because obviously weekends people want to be all family like. But yeah, I've been running. Material got delivered on Friday. I am delivering 200 complete parts tomorrow.
Nice.
Yeah, no, been
that's pretty quick then.
Machine running with tool brake detection, just let it chooch. Like I needed to go to the shop. I pushed auto power down, got in my truck, drove to the shop. Machine finished the cycle, turned off, came back, turned it back on, carried on running. Like
nice.
Tool brake detected. Actually, it caught the first broken tool.
Ooh.
This last week, yeah. So I was running. It's meant to be 40 by 40 millimeters for our Imperial friends. That is, I really need to put the keycaps on this thing. Like 1.6 inches by 1.6 inch square. But it's not out of bar, it's out of plate. So the guys saw cut it. And it ends up being a little bit longer. So I was taking a little bit of this was the fourth bar that I was running. But I had pulled stuff out of my scrap bin because I always order 1 or 2 extra pieces and then just throw them in the excess bin. And I had enough to run the whole job. So I started running and I could see they were squarer. So I started with those. Set up this one and I'm like, ooh, it's taking a bit of a heavy cut on the side, but it should be okay. It got 3 layers down because I'm salami slicing them off. Then broke my 6mm tool. It then chamfered the parts that were still in the block. Plunged my 3mm in and got 2/3 of the way around there, slotting at 2 times diameter. Or 2 times diameter depth. Like, it did friggin' well. And then broke the tool. And then I'm only doing brake detect on the 2 and 3mm tools. So I then threw an arrow when it went to go touch off the 3mm tool. So then the next block that was also a bit wide, I just threw in and just decked the side off quickly. So that it's kind of close to 40mm. And then those ran flawlessly. I actually did their second op today on the video I made for the anchor points. That pallet. where I put 8 parts at a time. Yeah, I did that up this afternoon. It took me less than 30 minutes to machine 100 parts to do their
Nice.
little holes. And while that was happening, my workshop was incredibly loud because I was tumbling things.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that'd make
Yes,
it
so
very
as you can
annoying to
see,
be in.
tumbling. Ooh, my hands in front of the camera. Tumbling, the number one topic every week.
I like how you put it in
What?
bold too.
Yeah, put it in bold as well, just because this is the tumbling cost. That tumbler just keeps being amazing. I tumbled 100 parts in one go. Last time I was having to do them in batches of, I think, 20, and it was taking like 2 or 3 hours. I threw 100 parts in, and 25 minutes later, I fished them out of the tumbler.
Sick.
It was that
That's
quick.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's
it was
awesome.
insane. Like, while I did the one op, it tumbled, and then I'm back. I'm doing the second and third ops now. So yeah, those will be done tomorrow morning when I get back in the workshop. I'm not going to go back in this evening. But yeah, those are running. It was a 5.5 minute cycle. And then I remembered, just because that's how you did it last time, doesn't mean that's how you
Yeah.
have to do it this time. So I went and I updated my toolpaths using pre-tools presets, which are a pretty good starting point. That took 2 minutes off the cycle time. 2 minutes off a 5 minute cycle time. So it's like
Oh wow. Yeah, that's significant.
significant. Yeah, especially
Yeah.
when you got to do 100 of these flipping cycles. So now it's just on 3 minutes a cycle. That does my op 2 and my op 3. And then, yeah, pots are done. So then they'll get washed, vacuum bagged, and shipped out.
I say that's a nice thing sometimes about like quote unquote crashing a machine, like how you took like that really beefy cut with a 3 mil. It just sometimes
Yeah.
teaches you like, oh, this cutter can take 500% more than what I'm throwing at it. And just like,
Well,
okay, well, I guess I
I
could
was
beef this up a little bit.
running my 2mm cutter at like, I think it was 100 mils a minute or 98 mils a minute or something. It's running at 304 now. My 3mm cutter, I was doing like 300 mils a minute. It's doing 1.4 meters a minute. It's freaking zooming. And it hasn't broken. Even my 1 mil cutter. We got a recurring job. We used to actually run it on the old, before I built the Slowio, the machine I had for that. I used to run this job on there. Like, I kept the machine around for that. We did a couple thousand of these, but it was 4 tool changes for every part, which kind of got old really quickly. So now I've set it up in the LK, running a 1mm end mill, but because that other machine was a wet noodle is polite, a very polite way to describe it, I ran that tool through toolpath, and turns out I can go at like 400 mils a minute. So I cut another couple minutes of another cycle time just by updating my default feeds and speeds.
Nice.
No.
Yeah, that's
So
a
we
ticket.
did 120 of those over the weekend as well.
That's awesome. It's the problem. It's like it's so easy just to stay stagnant on like, oh, it worked last time, so I'll just keep doing it. It's like, no, you might be leaving a ton on the table, and you just never know unless you, like I said, just push it a little bit.
Yeah, just push it just a little bit. You don't have to go like extreme, but just a little bit. And those little improvements add up very, very quickly. Like now I'm buying I assume you saw some of my things there, the melted MGMN holders.
Oh yeah, I saw when you friction stir welded with that thing.
One, and then I proceeded to melt a second one because I keep spare. Because I keep a spare on hand because they are a critical tool. Like a lot of my lathe work on Bertha uses that tool, so I keep a spare. I proceeded to kill the spare. I was running 303 stainless, but I was running it and I was doing other stuff, so it was unattended. And the insert failed because I was basically using a grooving cycle. So I'm only using the first millimeter of that insert, and then it plunges. And when it plunged, I think it shattered the insert and then just stir welded. All 2.2 kilowatts of stir welding twice. So I've got to order another one. There's a local supplier. I can order it. Like if I sent them a quote now, a request for quotes, I would probably get it in the next half an hour. Get a response at 7 o'clock at night. And then I would pay for it now. It would be shipped tomorrow morning. I'd have it tomorrow afternoon. Like their service is insane. Yeah.
Okay, that's not so bad then.
Yeah. I'm buying a 25 millimeter left-handed WNMG boring bar. So up till now, I've been using a 16 millimeter left-handed CCMT boring bar for one of the job, like heavy repeat jobs we do. But I want to go to something more rigid that actually breaks a chip. So I'm like, it's I'm going to say it's a couple $100, but I know they're going to think it's expensive. It's $32 for a boring bar.
Wow.
It's
really
that's
insane.
for nothing.
That's nuts.
It's from. I know it's straight. I know it's from China. I know he imports all his stuff, but that's fine. It'll do the trick.
Yeah.
I'm running one of his now, and it's been fine. So yeah, shout out to Midway Tools, their local place here in South Africa, and their service is on point. Like Sean, he hasn't let me down yet.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's so
like I
cool.
bought a lot of stuff from him. But he also, like, if you buy what, you can tell what market he's aiming at. I'm going to let you guess which market when I tell you what he does. So if you buy a tool holder from him, like an insert tool holder, it comes with an insert
Okay.
because he's aiming at the hobbyists.
Oh, okay. I see.
So you buy a tool holder, like, you don't, as a hobbyist, you don't necessarily know, oh, I must buy some inserts. Like, I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
cool, I'm buying this thing, I need to buy some inserts, obviously. He also sells loose inserts, which is kind of cool if you're a hobbyist, but I tend to just be like, cool, give me 10 of them, please. His pricing's really good. I know they're from China, but they do the trick.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, no,
stuff
that was
works.
kind of the same time or the same thing when I started buying like proper tooling. Like I'm like, oh, let's buy. I'm like, this holder isn't much, and I was like, oh, it's only like 100 and whatever something bucks. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, but then I got to buy the inserts. I'm like, oh, they're $10 a piece. Oh, and I got to buy a
Yeah.
10 pack of them. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
But
like,
I
I
mean,
know Tech here. I hate their inserts with a passion. They are really great inserts. I don't hate them because of their performance. I hate them because they're non-flippin' arso. So if you buy 3 boxes of inserts, you get a free holder. Whoop-teef. No. Because you can do
yeah.
nothing with their holder except buy their inserts because they're non-standard. Like, even their
Oh, okay.
WNMG is like 20% smaller. Oh, it's smaller. It's less carbide. It's cheaper. No, you locking me into your system. Like, my one customer loves their stuff. And I'm like, dude, you are on drugs. Like, just buy ISO standard stuff. If they don't have, you can buy somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's the same thing. Like when I tooled up my manual lathe, I tooled it up with the exact same tooling that's in my hard hinge. Cause like if I nuke any one of the tools in any of the machines, they interswap. And it's like, it's so much easier.
Yeah, no, keeping spares on hand, especially when running production, is like non-negotiable. I mean, that first, what's it? MGMN, the freaking grooving tool. The first one that I nuked, that thing is made probably close on 4,000 or 5,000 parts. Like,
Nice.
I've lost the inserts on it before, but I was there. So where the insert sits was just a little ruined. I fixed it with a file. And it was running fine right up until it wasn't, and I wasn't there. But that's why I keep a spare, because I had 2 of those and I had to put one in. And then I used my spare over the weekend and had to order another one.
Yeah. That's a nice thing. That's where I get like a slight advantage, because like most of my tool changes happen because of surface finish. It's not because the tool isn't cutting. It's because it's leaving a slight streak or a micro burr. And I was like, you know what? It's not worth it for me to like put the time into finishing this. So I'm like, swap the insert out, which is nice because then I'm usually not grenading inserts. I've grenaded drills. That sucks. But like for the most part, I get to save bodies because it's like, oh, this is kind of cutting poor. It would probably still cut another, 50% more parts, but it's just like, I'll just swap it. Like,
well, I mean, I run one of, I can't remember which job it is, but I use the angled part off tools. So it's not a square edge, it's a tapered one. And if you run slowly, you don't get a nubbin on your part. So you wrap it, you run in fast, and then the last couple millimeters, you go really slowly and you don't get a nubbin. But those I know, I get 200 parts and then I turn the insert round. I run 200 more parts, I put a new insert in. Don't run it till it breaks. Just swap it ahead of when it's going to break so that you don't have to deal with that.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. We're going to see how well the MCO does hard turning, though.
Oh, yeah, you're going to hard turn the pins, correct?
Yes, I ran into some issues this morning. Let's call them issues. So where I've been buying the pins for the anchor points, they're really, really nice pins. I like them. The quality is really good, but they don't hold the most stock locally. So I emailed them this morning, RFQ please, quantity I need. They're like, cool, we have 2 of the one and 7 of the other in stock. So I'm like, sweet. What do you need from me to actually order the stock I want? No, you need to pay for the whole order in full and 4 weeks lead time. I was like, that's nice. Phoned my one customer, I'm coming over to measure dial pins and ejector pins, because I know they use ejectors and they use punches and dials and whatever. Went through them. I ordered 50 dial pins, and I'm just going to throw them in the MCO, turn the taper on, like, so those have got, as you saw in the anchor points, got quite a steep taper on it. Going to basically turn that onto the dial pin, hard turn it on, and then make a fixture to clamp the thing and machine one of the dowel pins into a diamond.
Fair enough. Yeah.
There is only one drawback that I can foresee. Dowel pins are not nominal. Dowel pins are H7. So those pins on that anchor point you've got are 10 millimeters. Exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
As accurate as I can measure. They spec as 10 mil. Dowel pin is 10 millimeters plus 20 microns. Between 10 and 20 microns. It's an H7. Okay. So it's on the bigger side, which is not an issue if you're machining your own pallets. You just machine the hole a little bit bigger. So I'm going to have to update all my specs, but that's a minor concern. So, I mean, we're talking between 4 and 8 tenths bigger than the actual nominal size. And that leads to not being able to just use off-the-shelf drill bushes.
Yeah.
Not really a deal breaker.
Not for the cost of the pallet, no.
That's it. The pallet system is designed to be a cheap pallet system, so it would have been nice to be able to just throw drill bushes in, but if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. Because for the price of one of those pins, I ordered 50 dowel pins today. I can literally throw 30 minutes at each one and still be out ahead.
Well, and you're getting all the precision is coming still from the actual ground part of the dowel pin. Like you're just machining.
That's it.
You're taking away material on it.
Yeah. No, so that's a conversation I had with Danica this morning. She's like, can't you machine it? I'm like, I probably could. I don't even want to think about doing it. Because then I'm trying to hold an absolutely insane tight tolerance on a machine that's 35 years old. It'll probably do it. Honestly, it'll probably do it. But it's okay, cool. Go buy silver steel. Then I must heat treat it. Then I must buy a dowel. This is
not worth it.
Silly. I think 35 cents, US cents per dowel pin.
Yeah, exactly.
Hello, accuracy. I'm going to go spend $60 on 2 5C collets, one for the MCO that is dedicated to this operation. So it'll get a stopper put in and it'll be, don't mess with it. It's perfect for this only. Because I have a 10 millimeter collet, but I run hex bar through it, so I don't trust it.
Right. Yeah, you deformed it or whatever. Yeah,
so I'm worried I've deformed it. It's like for cutting brass, I don't really care. But so I'm going to go buy one for that, and then I'm going to do what Turn Back Knifeco did and make a thing for something similar.
With a little pallet? Oh, it's I love that with all the little collets.
It's so good, yeah. So I don't know, getting those collets here is a little bit tricky, so I'm thinking of just using a 5C. I was actually thinking of just making one that the 5C screws into. It has a neck with a thread, and then I just make a big nut. Then I put a stick on and go and tighten it, and then so the collet is always in the exact same place. The tightening mechanism moves up, so it's a dead stop collet effectively.
For the people that are for the people that are listening, this is just like a bunch of collets that are facing straight up with a big kind of aluminum block around it that just closes the collet so you can put it in a mill and hold round parts. So super smart.
Yeah, it's so clever the way he did it. So in his case, he's got 2 collets next to each other that he's machined a taper into a block and a thread in the middle. And as he tightens that thread, it pushes the block up and closes the collets. It's really, really clever. Like, I think it's a brilliant idea. I'm going to machine 1 pin at a time because at the moment I don't need to make thousands of them.
Right. Yeah.
So I need a one-piece solution for now. But I'm trying to steal time so that I can machine my mooring point. The material is there. I just have work in the machine. It's very tedious. These paying customers and whatnot. Ridiculous, I tell you.
Yeah, exactly.
Give you money and want parts. Absurd. So I need to finish programming it. I'm changed. I think since the version I showed you, I've changed it. So I had the bridge between the 2 pieces on the top. I've now stuck it on the bottom so that you've got a smooth surface between them on the top. So it looks a lot cleaner. We'll see. I'm going to get one on my machine and then probably have to replace the first ever production version with one of the actual ones from the batch with the new pins because I need to have my stuff all cross-compatible. And now with the dowels being a little bit bigger, I initially planned on using dowels. Like the V1, I was playing with it today. I just didn't make the diamondy enough. So it was a bit tight. I've learned things. And we will do fanciness going forward. Yeah,
Oh, that's
I'm
awesome.
quite excited to be making the pins. Quite honestly, like, yeah, I don't know if you listen to Lean Built.
Yep.
Yeah, did you listen to the newest episode?
No, I'm like 5 podcasts behind on every single podcast I listen to.
Okay. Oh, speaking of other podcasts, Curt, your episode on
What?
Taps and Patience was really good.
Oh, thank you. It was a lot of
Yeah, I
fun.
listened
I
to
had
it
about
like over the weekend.
yeah, I think I had like 20 minutes of heads up. I think AJ got jammed up, so I very much appreciate it. It was really fun chatting with Harrison. I kind of like there were
No,
some questions that I was
I'd
yeah,
forgotten
like
you were
listening.
on there.
Well, I was like listening to like podcasts with them, and I was like, oh, I wonder if Harrison blank blank blank. And I'm like, hey, now I get the chance. So it was fun to kind of just ask him what he opinions on certain things. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed chatting to those guys.
yeah, I'd forgotten you had been on there before.
Yeah, way back in the day. Yeah,
Yeah, I
way
was going
back
to
in the
say,
day.
like, way back in the day, because I've listened to them from the beginning, but yeah, I'd forgotten. So this one is beware of other people's lead times,
Oh yeah, that's
was the thing
perfect
for
advice.
today. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that hits so hard, because it was just as I discovered the lead time issues with the pins, got in my truck to go to a customer, started playing the podcast, and that was the topic. I'm like, wow, talk about hitting hard.
No doubt. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a
I know
bit
it's
of a,
like when some people ask me, they're like, well, why do you make this? Why do you make this? It's like, well, part of it is for that reason. Well, I mean, part of it is just because I can, but part of it is like, well, now I don't have to worry about that. Like, it's not an issue. Like if someone gets delayed or something or people buy up all the stock of blank, 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 it's like, I make it. Like it's all I got to do is carry enough material and I'm golden. Like it's all that really
that's
matters.
exactly it. So I actually went to one of my other customers today who's supplying the K110 tool steel for the anchor points. I sent him an email last week ordering the material, haven't heard back. So I went past it. I'm like, hey, what's happening? He's like, no, his wife's been off for the last 3 days. So she's now back. It'll get ordered today. I'm like, sweeto, need it by the end of the week, please. And then I can
Nice.
get all that done off to heat treat. Like, yeah, there's a lot of balls in the air at the moment. And I'm trying to just stay on top of everything. And it's beginning to stress me a little bit.
Yeah. That's how it should be before a
Yeah.
product launch. Should be a little
No, 100%.
flustered and frazzled. If you're all
Yeah.
if you got everything in all the ducks in a row, like we said last time, you've waited too long.
So yeah, like now the packaging's entirely redesigned. After our chat this week about the cost of pallets, I think I'm going to be shipping a lot of blocks of Ali around the world.
Yeah, I that's what I meant to do. I will get an actual quote for you just
Okay.
for
No,
curiosity's
yeah, I was
sake.
just curious.
But,
Because we're aiming at. So I've started building out the stuff on the web store, like the actual product listing. So we've got the anchor point starter kit, and then we've got just the base. So if you want to do a mooring point, you don't have to buy another 2 pallets and pneumatics kit. You only need one of them. But then we're also going to be selling the pallets. But we've got to ride a very fine line where we're not like, cool, don't buy 10 pallets, only maximum of buying an additional 2 pallets, because then you still fit in the shipping weight allowance.
Yeah.
Because the pallets are 800 grams each. So, it becomes a whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, if you get the right shipping care, like I know ShipStation will do it, but like if your order gets to a certain weight, like you can specify weight and size per device, and you can say like if I have 6 of these things, you have to now carry over to this style of shipping.
Sure.
I mean, I haven't implemented it, but it exists.
You don't need to implement. You make small lot things.
That's what you think until people order a bushel, and you're like, these all don't fit in one box anymore.
Yeah. No, so I've been looking at how to get around all of that stuff. Like this first batch, I don't expect people to be ordering like mountains of units. Hopefully, but I don't really. I know EJ is chomping at the bit from Nocturnal Welding to pick up some systems for his machine.
Nice.
So yeah, we'll see. But like, yeah, these ones are going out as meant to be standalones. They will be the perfect height, but they'll be ideally standalones, and then we'll move into making mooring points and stuff once I've actually had a chance to test all of that and get all those processes in place.
No, that makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. Yeah, no, I got your anchor point in my machine right now. I was playing with it this morning, so like it's cool. I can see it would be very nice if I don't have to tighten a vise again. I would very much like that. I would love to put a podcast on and load parts into a fixture and then just put a part in.
So
good to go.
My plan is to put okay, I don't know if I've said this on the podcast. So we have the anchor point, which is a single unit. Then we have a base plate called the mooring point, which is 2 units, and then the harbor, which is 4 units. I fully intend to put a harbor on my machine and have my vices on a plate that I can slap my vices on, take them out, throw a vacuum table or throw plate work table, whatever. Just quick swap in and out of my machine
Mm.
that I'm not having to reclock my vices ever again in my life.
Yeah.
As it is, my 2 self-centerings are going to go onto a double pallet that spans my my mooring point. That's going to be one of the first things I put on there, because I use
Nice.
my 2 self-centering vices, which are half a millimeter in difference in height. I measured it this time when I was setting the job up, which blows my freaking mind, because they were ordered at the same time from the same supplier. They arrived in the same shipment, and they are, what's that, 19.7 thousandths, like 20 thousandths difference in height. So like the first time I ran them, they are on a set spacing, center to center. So I could program the part at G54 and then just create a pattern over, and it wouldn't clean up when I faced the parts. I'm like, what the hell's going on? So now I run G54 and G55, which is just as easy to put out of Fusion, but I probe each block and then it runs fine.
Yeah.
But those are going
That's
to
how I
end
run
up
my
on an anchor point.
I say that's how I run my patterns too. Like I actually I machine my fixtures so they're dead even, just mechanically. Like they would
Yes.
measure perfectly just with a straight pattern. But I'm like, I have so many work offsets. It makes so much more sense just to probe them
Yeah.
in, as put them as work offsets and pattern it that way. Because then you can tweak it if you need to.
Yes. So, like,
As
for
opposed to
instance, my anchor point is at G57. It's been there forever. Since it went in the machine, that's always been its work coordinates. My mooring point will stay there. I think then G157 will be the back one's round pin, so that if I want to run single pallets, I just have to change one offset. And then on the 54 and 55 are reserved for just everyday work. Whatever I'm currently doing, if I'm probing a block in, that's G54 and 55 are reserved for
makes
that.
sense.
56 doesn't really get used. 58 and 59 are reserved for my tool setter and my warm-up cycle, which could get moved on to some random high number one. It's just when I got the machine, I didn't know I had a million offsets, so I just
Yeah.
set them on the ones I knew.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Yeah.
Tis the way. Tis the
I
way.
actually shared the warm up program I have with John last week.
Oh yeah.
I sent him because I drew an ellipse with the travels of the machine less 10 millimeters, and then like 100 millimeter high, and then cut it off at an angle, and then I do a trace toolpath, and I'll do a
Nice.
trace toolpath at 1,000 RPM, then a trace at 2,000, then a trace at 3,000, and keep going up, and then like I start double tracing as I get higher up, because now I'm increasing the feed rates as well, and that way you can kind of get it. Like I run a 15-minute warm up every morning. That's just part of the routine. You get in there, you let the machine warm up, you know it's moved across the entire XY travel, and there is lubrication in the machine. Like it's just part of the thing.
Yep. Same. Even mine.
If
Like
anyone,
I have
if anyone
a
does want
24
that
hour.
file, sorry, if anyone wants that file, just send me a DM on Instagram, and I will happily send it through for you.
Yeah, so like even
Yeah,
the problem is a spindle takes forever to warm up. So it's like I have a
Yeah.
24-hour warm up, I have a 72-hour warm up, and then I have like a 3-week warm up. And yeah, the 3-week warm up is brutal because it's like an hour
Yeah.
long or something like that. But yeah, the daily one is still. I mean, it's still like a 20-minute warm up, but I mean, it's
Did that come with
20,000
the
RPM
machine,
spindles. Basically, it's
or
the
did you?
factory spec of how they want it,
Okay.
how they want the spindle
So
warmed up. So I
yeah.
warm up the axes, and then the spindle warms up a little bit differently. So yeah,
Okay. When I got my machine, obviously second-hand machine, spoke to the guy. I'm like, "What's the story with warm-ups?" He's like, "Run your spindle at like 1,000 RPM increments for a couple minutes on each one." So I'm like, "Cool, I'll move the axes too." He's like, he knows guys who've put machines in, they turn on in the morning, and it goes to full RPM and stays there all day. And
yeah.
that's how they run day in, day out. No warm-ups, nothing. I'm like, "No, I'll warm my machine up, thank you. Like, let's try get some life out of this thing."
Yeah, I mean, honestly, for the price of a spindle, like
Yeah.
they're not that. It's not like it's like I think the spindle in mine is like $4,000, $5,000. Like
Yeah.
it's not a
It,
$20,000 spindle.
it's
So I mean, still, I don't want to cook
inconvenient.
it, but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
It's not, it's an
exactly.
inconvenient thing, but yeah, not the end of the world.
Yeah, I more do it just for, like I said, longevity, and then just to make sure everything is warm and like you hit the same
Exactly.
tolerances. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually got a price on another machine.
What are you looking
Forever
at?
getting pricing on machines. It is a drill tap center made by the
Okay.
brand Sano, and it comes in at no, keep adding zeros. $31,000 landed here.
Oh, that's cheap.
Oh wait, no, hang on. That's inches. 43. Sorry, 43.
That's still pretty
Was in
affordable.
bananas. Yeah, for a brand new machine, 48-meter
Yeah,
rapids, basically equivalent to what I have. Um,
nice.
yeah. So only problem is that it claims it needs 15 kilowatts, whereas if I look at all the specs, it's the same as my machine that needs 6.5 kVA.
Yeah, I think
So I
people
don't know
love
if they're
to.
just erring on the side of caution or what the
Yeah,
story is. But yeah,
yeah,
anyway,
I
we're,
vote
we're
them.
looking into it.
Sick. Well,
Yeah.
keep us
Uh,
posted.
yeah, we will see. It will happen at some point.
I
Um,
know we have let's say I'm on Thursday this week. I'm going to WMTS, which is a Western
oh,
manufacturing and
yes.
technology show. So it's
Ooh,
kind of like
fancy.
yeah, it's kind of like IMTS, except it's the like Canadian version, and it's
Yeah.
less fancy. I went many years ago, and it was super impressive. Like there was tons of machines to look at, and then I went to a few of the Canadian versions, and they were like it was like a room of like 20 tables, and it was just like this is like in and out in 10 minutes. But this one apparently they
Oh.
have a lot of vendors, so yeah, I'm kind
Okay,
of
well,
jazzed. I know some people
let's.
that are going. So
Oh, okay. Let's hope it's better than Machine Tool Africa.
was that pretty light duty as well? Just like
Pro
walk in,
Pack was
walk
three
out.
times bigger. No, I spent
Oh.
I spent 4 days there still because I'm talking to my friends and whatnot. Because yeah, yeah, I still spent 4 days there. Um, the show, about a third of the show was WD Hearn, the guys I bought the LK from. Like
Yeah, yeah.
they were literally swinging it around because they'd had a good year.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
so if you took Machine Tool Africa times that by
yeah,
6,
yeah,
you weren't quite at the size of the machine tool section of IMTS.
yeah,
Just the
yeah.
machine tool
IMTS
hall.
is yeah,
IMTS is
IMTS is
freaking
a
huge.
monster. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
So
Machine Tool Africa was a bit of a letdown for me,
yeah. Anyways,
which was
I'm
a bit
jazzed to go.
annoying. Yeah, no,
It's
that
fun to
sounds
look
like
at big
fun. It's always fun
machines.
to go to shows.
Yeah, yeah. So I think there's some Swiss machines, which is kind of what I'm interested in. I want to kind of
Yeah.
poke around there and see what that's like. Just kind of see what the local distributors are like. I mean, going to be a while. I don't think I'll ever buy new. I think I'll probably buy used Swiss, but I mean, looking at the price of used Swiss is here too. Just I don't know. It's just nice to go make
Yeah.
contacts. I
Yeah, I
took a
had a look
page out
at
of your
a.
book and
Yeah.
I made my pass as a dictator. So
Nice. I was about to bring that
yeah,
up. Nice.
yeah. I was like, no,
Um,
you're not. I'm not a dictator. So yeah, I got my pass. I'm pretty jazzed about that.
I actually saw my first Swiss was at Machine Tool Africa. There was one on the entire floor, and it was a 42 or 32 mil board. It was freaking huge.
That's a big one. Yeah.
Yeah, WD Hearn bring them in. It was about, because obviously I got sent the brochure because I knew it was coming in. Just adding some more zeros here. That was $135,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chinese
Oh,
machine.
they are.
I think Chinese or Taiwanese. I've actually got the brochure. If you want me to send you a picture of it, then you can look them up. It might be worthwhile looking up. Although service is where it's at. Like
Yeah.
the hardware you buy is not necessarily what makes your decision. The services, because
Yeah.
when shit breaks, you're gonna want to be able to get service.
Well, the thing is, I know a ton of guys that run Citizen machines and have Citizen reps and like have just
Yeah,
all
but
the
those are
Citizen info and
backwards.
have Citizen parts and have Citizen everything. So I'm like, you know what? I'm a big fan of Citizen. So
Yeah, the only problem is
probably
that
go
they're
that way.
backwards. No,
Oh,
they're
you're going
backwards.
Swissland. You're going Swissland anyways. You gotta flip your brain around.
Yeah, fair enough. But they are backwards, which is really weird.
Yeah, I agree. It
They
is bizarre.
run. Yeah, no, that's creepy. Yeah, the thought of that. But yeah, my poor lades. I've got to make some stupid brass parts this week. My MCO has literally been sitting for months at this point. Like I run the odd job on it, but it's
Mhm.
what it was bought for. I haven't run since November.
Gotta
So
show it some
those guys
love.
are. Yeah, well, it's going to get a bunch of love now. It's going to turn a bunch of dial pins.
That's not love.
That's love. It's only hot and steel. Come on. It's also going to run a bunch of pull studs. They hopefully arrive tomorrow. And then I'm going to shorten the
Nice.
threads on probably. Yeah, I'll see. I've got 30 spare pull studs, 30 more than I need for the starter kits for the batch. So I'm going to run a
Mhm.
bunch of short ones because I think it is a valuable thing to be able to use a 20 millimeter piece of material instead of a 25 or 30 millimeter.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Not
yeah,
fair.
for the amount of cycle time, it's worth doing.
Yeah.
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 So I see you. Oh yes, you printed a base for your Imperializer. You're super fancy these
Yeah.
days. I
Yeah.
need
This
you to
big
send me
old.
that file.
I will. Yeah. As soon as the podcast ends, I'll send it to you. It works
Okay.
pretty good. It's nothing too fancy. It's just I didn't like I
Yeah,
said, like
mine's
I like
laying
it.
on
I didn't put keycaps on
mine.
it either, but
Yeah, the keycaps I need to do my keycaps. Mine's laying on my mouse pad and
oh yeah.
had this Allen driver wedged through it, courtesy of my wife. So I need to sort it out and make it pretty.
Yeah, I was gonna like pause the print midway through and like fill it with like a bunch of like BBs or like a bunch of
And give it some
sand or something
weight.
like that.
Yeah.
Give it some weight, but I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna hit print and I'm gonna go to bed and I'll deal with this another time because this is more of just a fun project. But printing it, problem with printing it and then talking to you and then this podcast and then the internet and everything has just led me down this stupid rabbit hole of
Yep.
wanting to get a different printer. And I looked heavily at the bamboo printers. I looked heavily at the Prusa units, and then
Yeah.
obviously I looked at the Voron units because I've always been a huge fan of the Voron units. And so, anyways, my little other printer here is printing Voron parts. So you know how that went.
Which Voron?
I think I'm gonna go with the Trident. Yeah, I was gonna go the
What the hell's in
V2.4,
there?
but I think the Trident is a little bit better. It's basically the exact same as a 2.4, except it's got lead screw Z axis as opposed to the belt driven Z axis. I honestly the only reason is because I like the look of the extruder head being at the top of the printer, and these ones you can put the spool inside the printer, which to me is a
Ah.
kind of a big deal, and it
Oh,
makes it
okay.
easier
So
to
it's
kind of do some
yeah.
other stuff.
So it's a 3 axis leveling on a Voron. Okay, cool.
Yeah, the Voron is a 4 axis leveling for the 2.4, and the Trident is just a 3 point. Just like there's basically the only difference. The other one is flying
Yeah.
gantry. This one is a dropping build plate.
Yes, dropping bed. Ooh, that
Yeah.
is
So
brutal. So there's a local place that so see what this kit actually comes with. There's a local place that actually sells Voron kits.
okay. Yeah.
Um, short list of Voron Trident parts. It comes with a lot of the stuff, but it's
Yeah.
not friggin' cheap. Holy cow!
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, they're
but yeah,
not cheaper. They're not cheaper than a bamboo.
uh,
Like you're better off if you need a
yeah,
printer, just go buy a bamboo and let it
yeah,
run. But I don't need a
100%.
printer, and honestly, I don't really want to get into the bamboo ecosystem. I don't like being
No,
closed. That's my thing. Is like
100%.
anywhere in life, I don't like being closed off. So
I would consider a core one before I'd consider a bamboo here.
yeah, likewise. Especially with the
Yeah.
recent things bamboo's been doing, I'm just like, that's kind of shady. I'm not a
Yeah, a
fan.
little sketch. But yeah, I'm seriously meant to buy a par this week to clipperize my printer.
Nice.
Like the hardware on it is still good. Like it's not like
Mhm.
it's 15 years old. It's 5 years old. Make me feel flipping old. It's 5 years old, but it still works. Like it works fine.
Yeah,
I just want it to be better. I want to put
yeah,
input shaping and all the fancy things.
totally. Yeah, and that's
Yeah,
the
and
thing is,
then
I keep my printers for like way, way, way
oh
longer
yeah,
than required. So I want something that's like you look. I was looking at like teardowns of the bamboo units, and there's a reason they're like $1,200 is because they're built like they function well, no doubt. They print
but
fantastically.
they
Their
built
UI
to a
is
price.
industry leading. Yeah, but everything is glued together. Everything is bushings, like it's graphite bronze bushings, which is totally fine. But like they have a limited lifespan. And like I said, if you have a business and you print things for a business, buy a bamboo, get printing. Don't worry about it. But like for me,
Yeah,
I want to keep a printer for
buy
like a
bamboo, buy a
decade.
spare one for when it breaks.
Absolutely. And
Like,
but for me, I enjoy
yeah,
like I literally enjoy the process of building this. This is my downtime is dicking around with a printer
yeah,
and building something. So I've wanted a Voron forever. So yeah, I'll just slowly tinker my way to a build in that regard.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's the Slant 3D. I don't know if you listen to any of their stuff on YouTube. They've got a print farm, like a
No.
couple thousand printers. They
Oh wow.
started a print on demand. Literally, they've got a piece of or a API called
Mhm.
Teleport. You design your model, you upload it to Teleport. Someone orders you. It goes onto your Etsy store. Someone orders it. They
Mhm.
print, fulfill, and deliver
Mhm.
on demand.
Nice.
And they've got a couple thousand machines. But he was saying they developed their own machine because they needed complete control of that system. Because if you
Yeah.
put some off the shelf thing and then they update their firmware without like they push over their updates, and all of a sudden your print farm no longer print farms, you got a
Yeah.
problem. Like
Totally.
even the Prusa stuff, like that. I don't know if you've seen the Core One. I think it was the Core One release. Like a lot of stuff was pushing towards doesn't have to connect to the internet. can update firmware via a USB, and like all these stupid things that not everything needs to be on the internet.
Totally. Yeah.
Says the man whose lights in his workshop are now on the internet. But not everything needs to be on the internet.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. There's some machine tools I just don't like. For my printer, I like it just to turn on and do its thing. If it did it once, like unless there's like now my printer, my Mendel that I have is like 10, 15 years old. It's ancient. It's old tech. Everything is old on it. All the software is old. Like it's time to upgrade that thing. But like it still does the thing. Like I put the print into it and it prints the thing. Like,
but
I don't need to.
That's also like putting pig on lipstick on a pig.
Totally. Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And
throw a clipboard at it and see what happens, but nothing good.
Well, this thing took whatever hours to print, whereas on a modern printer it'd be less than an hour. Like it's just
No, that's something Bamboo I will give them credit for, is they pushed the speed limit. Like, I mean, I say that this thing's been doing 100 millimeters a second since I built it 5 years ago. It's never run slowly. The first print on Dave's version of this, because I built two of them, one for myself and one for Dave. Dave's first print was a Benchy and it was sub 1 hour. 5 years ago.
Quick.
That was a 2.5 hour print back then. Like we just kept turning it up and seeing what would happen. And obviously it looked like shit, but it is what it is.
Well, now you
it's pushed.
You have the speed boats, like the sub 10-minute benchies.
Oh yeah. Have you been watching the Minuteman project?
I don't know. It sounds familiar, but I don't think
I'm going to butcher this. Rotes 4.0. It's a guy on YouTube somewhere in Europe. He's got a Europe accent. He's got an old CMM that he's basically building a sub 1 minute benchy machine on. He's got the most amazing air bearing kinematic table, and like it's nuts. But like his videos are now 2 hours long. I watch them at like double speed because he's going into how the hell do you cool your filament fast enough? Because it comes out the nozzle molten. It needs to go hard before you can lay on it again. And he's he's trying to crack a minute. The current record is like 2 minutes, just under 2 minutes. Not on his machine, on a modified Ender 3.
Yeah, they look like trash, but I mean, it's still amazing that you can get that much plastic.
No, it's absolutely. But no, we need to put a link for that. Hang on, let me add that to the thing here. Rotes 4.0. What was the other thing I promised the link for? Whoops. But yeah, I know that the guys can DM me for the warm-up cycle program.
Oh, that, okay,
yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So yeah, anyway, with regards to putting things that shouldn't be on the internet, my lights in my workshop.
Yes.
Did you see? You saw the post, didn't you?
Oh, I did. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I was expecting you to say, Dad is home, and the lights just go like, boop, 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 boop.
I'm getting there. Right now, it's enable Iron Man mode is what I request of the goggle box. My neighbor gave me a speaker, so I put that in the workshop. So now in the morning, it's like enable Iron Man mode and all the lights turn on, and then disable Iron Man mode, and then they mostly turn off. The relay module's sticky. Apparently, 36 watts means more than 10 amps because the relays get sticky.
Okay, yeah.
So I don't know why. I know it's just a shitty relay module, but I had to go hit it with a spanner till it would turn off the other day. But it seems to be stable now, so... But yeah, now I've got the problem now is I put more lights in the workshop, so now inside my machine looks dingy, whereas it used to be the other way around. Like in my machine it used to look bright, and outside so I went and put in, how many lights did I put in the freaking workshop? Hang on, I need to there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 2 fluorescents, which are, we'll call them the same, 8, 9. Okay, cool. Times 9. Yeah, I have 350 watts worth of LEDs in my workshop.
Nice.
Of which 100 watts is directly above where I stand in front of the machine. So now I can't see the lights on my machine because it's too freaking bright. Like on the control panel, I have to look directly in line with them to see if they're on. But it's nice having lights.
Oh, totally. When I built this place, I put just a stupid amount of lighting in the ceiling that I never use because it is so bright. It is annoying to work under. It hurts your eyes. It's like I said, I turn them on when I'm doing like setups because it's like there's no shadows. It's like an operating room. Yeah. But day-to-day stuff, it's like this is just tiring to work under. So I have all this mood lighting in here instead.
Banks. so I can leave some of them off if I want. But yeah, I was on the
Yeah.
roof pulling really shitty twin flex around. I'm pretty sure it's aluminium core wire with copper plating on the strands
Oh, nice.
because it was from the China shop and it was like super
Yeah.
cheap for a roll of 100 meters. But it's powering 36-watt lights. It'll be fine.
Yeah, you're not
No,
gonna have issues.
I'm not. It's not going to set itself on fire. But yeah, so I've been organizing the workshop and sorting shit out. I bought a shelf that now sits where my table was and is full of material because some idiot bought a whole shitload of material to make anchor points.
Yeah, I saw that. That's a
The
sizable amount of
mountain.
metal.
Yeah, it was stressing Danica out a bit. She's like, it's a lot of money to be tied up on something that we don't know is going to sell. I'm like, in reality, it's not that much money that's tied up there. Like, as far as material through our workshop goes, it's not that much money.
I suppose, yeah. Well, like you said,
yeah,
I'll buy. Assuming this doesn't blow up in my sheen. I'm down for 2. So
I'm down for 7 already. So it's everyone else can get nodded. I'm having 7 in my machine. I want to put 7 or 8 of them in my machine in the long run that I can literally swap out the entire work envelope. Because I've got that tough little job coming down the road, hopefully. I've actually got some more mold work coming down the road. I had a chat to Roger today. And he was saying he just needs to stop being lazy. So stop being lazy, Roger, because I know you're going to listen tomorrow. Well, you're going to listen tomorrow, which is actually today for you. We were chatting this afternoon, and he's like, no, he's got the go-ahead for the molds on this drone fuselage that I've been machining molds for. I like mold work. Mold work's like, I do the roughing, and then I'll do the roughing in the evening. So I'll start roughing the part out at like 7 o'clock in the evening. It'll be done by 9 with the roughing, and then it just sits and does finishing while I sleep.
Yeah.
And the machine just goes back and forth and back. And the guys polish these molds. So they like the super smooth finishes I give them. But I don't really care because I'm sleeping while it runs. I get to charge full rate while I sleep. It's the dream.
I have a pen project coming up with the same thing. It's just going to be like a lot of finishing, like a silly amount of finishing. Like I'm gonna starve building this variant, but I'm super jazzed for it. And the best thing is, no one's gonna follow me or copy me because no one's gonna make money at it. So I'm quite. No one's gonna
be dumb enough to do it.
No one's gonna be dumb enough to do it. No, you have to have no overhead, and you have to enjoy working for no money. But it's gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna be. I'll be jazzed about it. So.
Kind of curious to hear about that.
I will. I will release more details eventually.
Eventually,
if it works. If it doesn't, I'm just gonna admit that I never went down that rabbit hole. I'll be like, no, that wasn't me. That was somebody else.
What you speak about? Yeah, exactly. Some other guy did that. I don't know if you saw the coolant manifold. It's finally finished.
I did see that, and it makes me want it. Yeah,
yeah, it works. It works okay. The little PP keys that I need to make them with less of a radius where they blend, just so that I can point them a little closer to the spindle. So my really short tooling, I can't actually hit properly.
Gotcha.
But it ran everything it needed to. It did what I needed it to do over last week. So it works beautifully. I didn't bother anodizing it. I just slapped it in the machine and ran with it. But it works amazingly.
I stuck my head in the machine and looked up at my spindle just to see if I had, like you said, you had some tapped holes that were unused, and I have tapped holes that are unused too. So I'm like, ooh, so I might have to take your lead and build something similar. I will
send you the file if you want.
I would appreciate it, actually. Yeah, very much so.
I would suggest you, because you got a laser cut just a piece of cardboard or whatever, bolt to your spindle and check when it does a tool change that it's not going to break anything. Because that's what I did. Laser cut piece. Okay, cool. I can come a little bit further forward. Then I took the model, 3D printed like 5mm thick with the step where it could potentially intersect, and just printed like an L, bolted that in, checked clearances, and then I went to make it in aluminium.
That's smart. Yeah.
And then made all the fanciness and got it all working. The pipes are a little bit janky, but they work.
I was thinking about you because I forgot what I was doing now, where I changed something in the machine, and it was positioning coolant nozzles, and I was like, this is so I'm going to make little like spikes that I can put in my coolant nozzle so I can just point them. Cause like I point them, then I close the door and turn the coolant on. I'm like, oh, that's close. And then I open the door and then I point them again and I close the door.
I know this
rinse, repeat like 1,000 times. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put like a wire, like a big long wire with a thing so I can jam it in the nozzle and then just point the wire where I want it. I was like, or I just build
Or
a little manifold that goes on the head and just never worry about
exactly.
this again. So it's like, yeah,
No,
that's the
like it.
better way.
So I need to make the ones with a bit more relief so I can point a bit closer. Other than that,
Mhm.
flawless. I love it. Like I
Sick,
don't think
sick.
about it anymore because I used to faff with the nozzles all the time. Like it was
Oh
freaking
yeah,
annoying. So I'm
yeah,
literally running two 12 millimeter pneumatic lines. So I bought
yeah.
pneumatic fitting elbows that screw into my coolant blocks. They loop over the top of the machine and come down down the side of the spindle, like where
Nice.
there's a cover next to the motor. They slot it in there. I cable tied them to the energy chain, and then they just loop. Because I didn't want, I could have had them dangling in the machine, but that's just asking for cuck.
Yeah,
So I
I
rather
might
had them
actually,
loop over the top.
looking at the machine, I might even go even more ghetto and pop the lock lines off the static nozzles
Yeah,
there,
and just
and
run a
just put a
hose.
loop a loop up to
Yeah,
the
yeah, I,
spindle.
I considered that. I really did consider that. I would say if you're going to do that, feed in from the side, like to the side of your machine, and make a loop with like something pulling it to the corner so it doesn't dangle by your job. That
Yeah,
you can
yeah, yeah,
definitely do that. Like I've got
yeah.
other covers that sit a bit lower, like where your lock line does the bend
Mhm.
in your video. I've got a cover that sits there, so I had to pull the covers if I wanted to do that. I didn't really want to pull covers off the machine.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Although
Yeah.
the one cover does touch the casting if I go all the way down. It's really annoying. It goes kadunk,
Mm,
kadunk every time I do, like if I'm pec drilling low down,
mm,
every time I go
yeah.
past the cover, it goes kadunk, kadunk, kadunk on the casting. And I just couldn't be bothered to loosen and fix it because I've put risers on everything.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's something I got
But
to
yeah,
do.
I'm
Just
I'm busy designing anode crates because the last thing I want is to pack beautifully machined parts, send them to anodize, and have them rattle around in a crate.
ah, okay, that was the
Yes.
that was that big foam you were
That
lasering,
big
or
ass piece of
assuming you're going
foam,
to
yeah.
laser. Yeah, yeah.
I'm going to attempt to laser. It's 20 millimeters
Okay.
thick. I don't know how well this is going to go with my 50-watt laser.
Yeah, it's up there.
I've done 16 mil before and I didn't have issues with that. I've got a 100 millimeter lens. So instead of a 50 mil focal, it's 100. I'm going to put
Oh,
that
okay.
in. That way I can get a bit more clearance.
Yeah.
Um, and then, yeah, I bought that 1 meter by 1 meter. That should be enough for 2 boxes. It's enough for
Really?
one box. Yeah.
Oh, I guess. Yeah,
Because
they're big. Yeah,
it's stacking, and that's without cutting a bottom. That's with making the dividers and then cutting squares to shove in the bottom.
yeah.
Like it eats up a lot of material. So that's in the next couple of days. I'll get that sorted out. The next highest priority is getting the pins. My plan for the pins sorted out, so I can
Yeah.
machine the anodized sample body I have, press pins into it, transplant all my V3 stuff into that V4 body, assemble that, and check that my plan is going to work.
Right.
Because
Yeah. It's
until
a
I
good
do
idea.
that, I can't machine any of the bodies.
Yeah, do that. That's an
Yeah,
important one.
yeah, it's kind of important. Just again, fighting for time on my own flipping machine.
Yeah.
It's a little bit annoying. You know, his customers paying money and wanting parts. Ridiculous, I tell you.
I know.
But yeah, and
Surviving.
then yeah, surviving and eating food. Ridiculous.
Exactly. Who
Um,
wants that?
yeah, I had a chat to one of my customers last week. We've done a couple of thousand of these stupid little aluminium parts. It's an extrusion that we machine a hole in. I was actually at the bank and I make the parts that they sell to the bank. I was like, hey, I machined that. I can tell because it's got a shitty chamfer. Um,
Okay.
yeah, the extrusion isn't super consistent. So every now and
Hmm.
again, it'll clean up on the one side and not the other. And
Oh, okay.
it
Okay.
gets powder coated. I don't really, not my problem if they want to give me shitty material. Like it'll be fine. You'll load another piece and it won't be. So they don't mind.
Hmm.
Um, I spoke to the guys like, yo, listen, we're going to be doing like, he was like, have you increased the price of this? I'm like, I would like to. He's like, your competitors coming in 50 cents cheaper. I'm like, well, my price isn't going down. But
Right.
last
Yeah.
time you sent me stuff, you had them 2 days later. He's like, no, your service is amazing. Like, don't worry about the price. Just if you leave it the same, you'll get the work. He dropped
Hmm.
off 120 of those for me to machine last week. I cranked those out on Friday. Um,
Hmm.
I need to rebuild the pallets. The fixture's 100 by 100 millimeters, which hey, just so happens to be the anchor point's default pallets. It's the kind
Nice.
of work that when it comes around, you want to just slap it in the machine, run through it quickly, and take it out the machine. Like 100 of those is an afternoon's job if you've got all the fixturing right. So I'm going to
Cool. Cool.
make an
Cool.
anchor point fixture for that, and that is like the ideal case. The pallet doesn't cost a fortune, so you can afford to have one laying around, dedicated to that. When the job comes in, you just throw it on the machine and you're running in 10 minutes. You got to put your
Nice.
tools together, touch off your tools, and you can run. And then they've
Well,
got another one. I'm waiting for material to arrive, hopefully tomorrow. I've got a machine 120 circles with a slot in them to go in an 80 millimeter cutout on a desk. So like when they've got a cutout on the desk, it's a cable pass
yeah,
through.
yeah. That makes
Machining
sense. Yeah.
120 of these things that then go to anodize. So I need to come
Fancy.
up with a process that's somewhat reliable for machining these things. Like the overall thickness doesn't matter per se. So I'm going to put it in the vise, deck it, machine the hole, then put it in a fixture, machine the slot, and machine the outside, and do the undercut with a T-slot cutter.
Yeah.
And then get creative with dovetail cutters to chamfer it all in one op.
Nice. That's the way.
Yeah.
That is the way.
One up's the way to go. This has to be 2 ups because I have to face it, and I can't hold it by the bore and face it if there's no bore. So I'll face it and put the bore in the first op, and then clamp it in the bore and do the thing. But yeah, it should be fun.
Speaking of anchor points and cheap pallets, I got a question because
Yes.
I posted a quick question on the stories.
Ooh,
So
fancy.
yeah, if you want to answer it, it's up to you on this one. Carry Development asked, what is the price point of the anchor point? So you can give a range. You can tell people to go pound sand, or you can do what you like.
No, I'm happy to share the price because we have decided on the price already. The price will be $4.99 US with $60 shipping on top of that. That is for the starter kit. It comes with the base, the pneumatic starter kit, 2 toe clamps that will make it Sanders baseplate compatible or T-slot compatible, and 2 blank pallets for you to get started with. We will then also be selling additional pallets that I still want to confirm pricing on, but we are aiming at about $27 a pallet for a very specific reason, which I'm not going to get into because it's a kind of a little bit of a dick move. But yeah, so that is the projected pricing. That will be the price on the first batch, which we are aiming for the end of this month. So we have got 23 days to go until I'm planning on releasing those.
That's part of the reason I'm championing this product, because I don't think anyone is hitting that price point. I don't think anyone can hit that price point. And I think for what you're getting for the price, you're not getting like a budget quality 0 point. Like it seems pretty legit in my eyes. But
so
anyways, I'll take my sales with that.
It definitely has its limitations. Like, don't strap a chunk of steel to it and expect to go whaling on it. It is on the website, which you can find on the jspeceng.com is our website. There's an anchor point section on there. I might convince Danica to link it in this show notes. There are some available specs on how much hold down force and whatnot there are on these units. I've been using one for just on a year now in my machine. I'm still running the pre-production version 2. We're now on to version 4, which will be going into production, will become the production version. And clamping force-wise, it's the same, but the version Curt has and the version I'm moving to now have a ground pad, so they've got a lot more contact area than the version 2 that I run. But if you're interested in seeing what it's capable of, on my Instagram, which is JSpec Engineering, there is a highlights reel on my profile that goes through the testing and development and all the stuff relating to it. And I think about 3 stories in is actually doing a test cut with a 12-inch end mill, 24 millimeters deep with a 4 millimeter step over. And I run out of horsepower on my machine before the pallet system runs out of rigidity. So
nice.
Yeah, you can check it out there. So bit of a long rant, but yeah.
No, I'm starting to shoot video on it because I want to do a combo video of the 0 point and my screws mixed together. So try to capture more eyeballs. But I think that's also because I think this is going to be pushing it for tolerance more than most people. Like I want to be, if I can position within 5/10, I'm fine. If I can get tighter, even better. But like honestly, if I can position within 1,000, I'm fine too. But I want to see how accurate I can go.
I'm curious to see. So you might need to take those pallets I sent you. And I would say put them in with their current locating holes, machine them square, then take them out, put them in your vise, and machine a new set of dowel holes that are right on size. Then you're going to get the accuracy you're looking for.
That's exactly. I'm going to take your stock pallet. I'm going to put it in there, and I want to just probe it and test it and just see. Yeah. And then same thing. That's what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop them out. I'll machine new super tight holes, which are going to be tedious to like swap in and out. But I want to see just what I can pull.
Yeah. So as far as I recall on that specific batch of pallets, Um, those were 10.02. So those had a 20 micron tolerance on the boards, and I went right up to that bigger size. So those are 8/10 over size,
Yeah.
those holes,
Which is
which means your positional accuracy in the corner of the pallet system, in theory being the operative word here, should be 5/10
right. But that also
from
depends
positional.
on if you put them in and then keep tension on it. Like if you
So
constantly put them in and tension them one way, you should be okay.
yes, you should be perfect then. But
Yeah.
that is assuming you put it in twisted right, clamp it, put it in twisted left, clamp it. You should have a variance of plus minus 13 microns
Right.
there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your
I
biggest.
did
Yeah.
some CAD
Your most
drawings.
nice.
Yeah. Because you could, in theory, shift from side to side by 10 microns or 4 thousandths. Yeah,
Right.
give or take.
Right. Yeah.
So
Exactly.
4,000, 4/10 side to side. And then when you start rotating that, it gets really weird really quickly.
Yeah.
But that's where also the mooring points, your positional accuracy start, because you're spanning larger distances, you start to
Yeah.
gain accuracy there, because your 10 micron deviation in your the number of degrees, it won't be just one of the smaller denominations of degrees, will be a lot less for the same tolerance.
Right. And if you have a
But yeah,
pallet spanning those, then you can start doing funky
yes,
stuff like preloading the pinholes by, a few
ex-
micron on either
yeah,
side. So when you put it on, it's like it's registering
dead
itself
nuts.
against itself. Yeah.
Yeah. So
People don't, microns are small, folks.
microns are stupid small. It's like the hobby. Yeah, I was ranting to someone today about hobbyist. When I went to my customer to go look at pins, I was ranting to them about hobby machinists, where they're making a handle for their lathe and trying to hold tents. I'm like, dude, it's a handle for your
Mhm.
lathe. If it's out by 10 millimeters, no one's going to give a shit. It's a handle for a
Yeah.
lathe. Like, yeah, people chasing
Yeah.
microns when there's no reason to chase them.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Chasing microns when you have a machine, if you lean against, it's going to move 5 thou. It's like, what are you doing? Like, it
yeah,
doesn't. What's your weakest point? Like,
really,
where's your weakest point? Yeah.
exactly. Like, and yes, you can hold stupid tight tolerances on a wet noodle, but it takes a lot of effort.
Yeah.
Like, I held
Yeah.
silly tight tolerances on the Slowio. I now
Mhm.
turn that work away, even though I have the LK. I'm not
Yep.
interested in trying to hold those tolerances. Again, today, I was at the customer. He's like, come collect tool steel. There's work for you. I'm like, no, thanks. I
Yeah.
don't want your tool steel in my machine. I don't want the stress associated with it. Like, I like cheap aluminium. When I make a scrap
Yeah.
part, guess what? I just make another one. Well,
No,
preferably not
totally.
scrap the second time. It happens as well. Like, I've got a pallet that's sitting on my shelf that I blew the tolerance on the bores when I was setting up, or I got a shaving, and I don't know. So it was out of spec. It's going to be
Right.
used for a job where I don't need accuracy. I just need
Right.
a pallet. So it'll
Yeah.
get used for that job. Like, there's a time and a place for accuracy, and that job is not it. It's a cover for on a desk. It doesn't need to be
Yeah.
accurate.
I have
But yeah,
I have another fun question.
another one. Hang on. Before
Yeah.
we get to that, Kurt, let's quickly do the Patreon shout outs. Well, shout outs, because we've got one Patreon on
Of course.
the fancy, on the fancy thing. I'm just looking now, we're like on an hour already. Thanks to Jade from Benchmark 20 for being our top Patreon. It's greatly
Thank you, sir.
appreciated.
Thank
Thank
you
you to all
friend.
the Patreons. It goes to making the podcast much easier to just happen. But yeah, and then, let's carry on with the questions, and then we'll just tie in our calls to actions and stuff towards the end of the podcast.
Yeah, they've gone this far. They know who we
Yeah.
are. So
Exactly.
another fun question. I think I'll direct it at both of us because it's a fun one. I want to know your answer too. Des Tundra asked, "What is one item that you've created that you're most impressed with?" That's a fun one.
Ooh, most impressed with. Ooh.
I'll lead if you want to think for a second.
Yeah, no, you lead with this one, because I've created a lot of things and I don't know what I'm most impressed with. Well, I know what the cheesy answer is.
Yeah, I don't. My
Yeah.
answer might be cheese. But the thing I'm like, I could say like, oh, the first pen I made, like all this, like, yeah, sure, whatever. Honestly, the one thing, and I shouldn't say that I've created it because I haven't really created it, but that's silly little hobby mill, the Curt hobby mill that sits beside me, is probably the thing I am most impressed with that I didn't fully create, but I definitely built it more to the, like, it's built for a purpose. And I put time and effort and cash into this thing that is beyond what you should put into it. But that little machine has paid for the sile. It has paid for me to do this for years. It is anybody that ever whinges at me that like, oh, I don't want to start a business because I got like, go buy yourself a cheap hobby mill. There's amazing things that you can do if you're just willing to put in a little bit of effort. Like if you put in half the amount of effort that you whinge online and you put that towards something productive, you could get someplace really crazy. And I don't know. That's just my pet peeve is the amount of people that whinge at me that they can't build something fancy because they don't have $100,000 machine tool. It's like there's so many ways around this. So that's the thing I'm most impressed with, because on this last batch of all the Canadian pens with all the engraving on it and all the 4th-axis work on the pen body, the Curt did it. The little hobby mill machined these pens that I'm selling for $300+ Canadian, and the finishes are fantastic. And I've ran the same parts on my sile, and it produces incredibly similar results. It does it in 1/10 the time, but like you can do amazing things with cheap tools. That is the thing I'm most impressed with. Maybe it's a cop-out answer, but that's one.
No, it's not a cop-out answer, because that's exactly where my mind went. At this point, I would venture to say that Curt is more yours than what it was when you bought it. Like you've put in more than that machine was when you bought it. Like you've put a lot into that machine.
Yeah, it's a $2,000 machine. That's now probably got $10,000 of crap on it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you stole my thunder there, because I was like, I'm most proud of the anchor point. And they're like, no, that's fucking lame. I was going to say the Slowio, because same story. Like I built the Slowio from scratch. I was actually rewatching the video series the other night when I was in the workshop, because I filmed the whole video series on building that machine. And it was meant to compete with the Tormach 440. It's meant to be better in every single way. The only thing I didn't manage was the spindle RPM. I chickened out. It got warm when I went up to 8,000, so it stayed at 6. But it's got like 10 millimeters more travel, because I was just being a knob when I designed it.
Right.
And that machine, the amount of work that went out on that machine blows my mind. The things I did on there, I wouldn't even attempt on my LK now. Like I look back at some of the stuff, I'm like, how the hell did I do that? In what world should I be doing this? I was machining K110 injection mold inserts on there. It's like, in what world should I be making injection molding inserts on a machine I built from scratch? Like, this is insane. Right. I mean, I built the freaking spindle. Like, I designed that entire machine and manufactured that entire machine in 2018. It's like, that machine has no right to be as good as it is. Like, there is no reason it should be as good as it is. Like, but yeah, it is. It'll be in my workshop forever, but it probably in reality won't. I use it less and less, and it'll probably go to a better home at some point. But it got me to the point that I could buy the LK. It got me to the point that I could buy Big Bertha and retrofit Big Bertha. And got me to the point that I could buy the MCO and retrofit the MCO. Like, that was all on the back of the Slowio. When you look back at it, it's like, what the hell? Like, I mean, that whole machine, if I recall, I got some really good deals on some of the stuff. Like stupidly good deals, mostly because I liberated it from work. That whole machine cost me $2,800.
That's nuts. Yeah. It's probably paid for
obviously
itself.
I've thrown some more money at it since then. Like that was when it had a R8 spindle. Since then, I've thrown a bunch of money at it. In reality, we're probably closer to $4,000.
Sure. But it's probably paid you back 10 times that, 20 times that. Probably more.
Closer to 20. Probably more.
Yeah.
Probably more than that, actually. Like, it's insane. It's made 12,000 torque spits. That little machine 12,000 torque spits. And maybe 12,000. I invoiced 12,000 of them from that machine. It was making them in just over a minute each.
It's crazy.
It's insane. Like, it is amazing what you can do with effectively a wet noodle. Like, comparing that to the LK, it's not even comparable. That machine is relegated. It's relegated to drilling cross holes and pins.
You need a good healthy dose of ignorance too. Like, that helps a
100%.
ton. Like, so don't go online and just go do it yourself, and then you'll realize you can do a lot more.
That's like my video. I think we were discussing it this week. You said you watched our old shop tour from 2018. I watched it the other day. I'm like, this oak has no idea what's coming. He's so so hopeful and ignorant. Like, I had no idea what was coming. Like, and the thought, like looking back at that, and at that point I was like, oh, I can be profitable doing R&D work, not charging anyone any money. And it's like, you've got to be kidding me, bro. Like, come on. And I look at now where, I mean, what I that was 2018. By 2020, I worked at what I needed to be earning a day to just cover our bills. That is times 3 now. We have to clear per day just to cover our bills. But obviously, we're doing a lot more work than we were doing back then. Yeah. I mean, my laser cutter I built off the profits of a job because at that point, I didn't have to be profitable. I needed the business to pay the bean counter and cover the tooling bill. That was it. My missus was paying the bills. And then, COVID happened. Then all of a sudden, I was profitable. It was fun. Kind of glad for that. Like, it kicked me in the ass enough to actually get me on a serious path. Otherwise, it would have always just been me pottering around the garage, doing odds and ends, making a little bit of money here and there. And to sound kind of mean, I would have ended up like a dad. Same kind of story. Bills were paid. Yeah. He just potted around. Well, that's the impression I get. I never met him, but he kind of potted around, had business that didn't really need to be profitable. Whereas now I've got to be profitable because I pay the bills.
Yeah. Well, that's some value too. It's like sometimes putting a little bit of fire to your feet helps.
100%.
Like,
yeah.
A little bit of stress is very motivating. A lot of stress is not motivating, but a little bit is very helpful.
a little bit helps. Unfortunately,
just be slightly hungry.
Yeah, like now this whole anchor point thing is stressing me a little bit more than I wanted to, but that's fine.
Yeah,
I will survive, and then we'll make more. Well, I'll be more stressed. Yay!
Yeah. No, exactly.
Yeah, but at least I'm glad I put the time and effort into getting my processes in place when we did the beta units.
No doubt. Yeah,
and I'm glad I built the beta units because they resulted in me changing the entire freaking body design to something that is significantly better.
Oh, they're so pretty. Yeah.
Like the new ones. Oh, so pretty.
Not to say your old ones aren't, but they're very utilitarian and they'll serve their purpose. But like
exactly.
The new ones they look good. They look good on the gram.
No, they look sweet. Like even the mooring points I'm going to make now, the riser, I'm kind of torn on whether I should anodize it or not. I kind of need it in the machine, but I also kind of want to anodize it, so it looks cool. But I don't know. We'll see. It's probably going to get tossed in the machine and never taken out again. If I'm honest, like even the coolant manifold, it's tossed in the machine. It's never coming out again. Like it works.
Yeah.
Unless it falls off, it's not coming out again.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I tend to be a bit utilitarian like that. If it's in the machine, no need to take it out.
Yep.
So I was watching the third episode on the building my CNC machine video, and I spotted the dread on my face when I mentioned I had to take the vise out of the machine because on that machine it was a schlep. And that is still to this day a thing in my mind that putting a vise in and out of a machine is this like hour-long endeavor. It literally takes me 3 minutes.
Yeah.
I pick vise up, I wipe bottom, put on riser, put the indicator, smack it with a hammer and tighten it down. Finished. Like it's not this huge thing that in my mind it is. But it was interesting to see that in 2018 Jamie's eyes. Like it's a huge schlep on the Kitamura. But also the vise weighed a freaking ton. It was a 300 millimeter long vise. Like you could clamp a 1 foot piece of bar stock in. It was flipping huge. Yeah. So it was heavy. But that series is interesting to go watch every now and again. Like it doesn't have a lot of views, but it's an interesting view. The music's very annoying, but there is some interesting insight there. I think in one of the segments, I posted a section in it from when I was in Australia, because that was when I was traveling all the time. So it's like, I wanted to post an update, but I'm in Australia. Look at the pretty harbour behind me. Oh, a stingray. And then back to building the machine the next week.
Yeah, I think that's one of the benefits of one of my selfish benefits of just doing videos was just kind of have a journal. You can always look back and be like, oh yeah, I remember that. Like that's part of the reason I shoot video too.
Well,
is just
I have more videos I've got more videos on YouTube than you do.
Oh yeah, I guess probably.
Yes, except you average 100 new subscribers per video, and I average 0.9 subscribers per video. because a lot of it was old drone racing stuff. Like I've got a couple views, like a couple thousand views on a few videos back when I was on the flight test forums.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as of late, and Anchor Point's videos got quite a lot of views. But yeah, I actually got another copy of Filmora today so that I can mess around with the slightly newer video editor. I think my one that I'm using is from 2015. It's
Nice.
definitely legit version. So I'm going to put another definitely legit version in and mess around with that because I want to shoot that shop tour that we discussed this week.
Yeah, sick.
Because, yeah, the workshop is giant and I have so much space for cameras and things.
I know. One of my pet projects that is on my list is to do a whole flying gantry system on the ceiling,
Nice.
like with tracks where I can roll a camera around. I so want to do that, but I have zero time to do that right now. But it'd be a lot of fun.
Thing,
like just so you can roll a camera wherever you want.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like filming for me, editing's a schlep. I don't enjoy that at all. And also, like the shop tour is gonna be filmed on a GoPro Hero 2. Mostly because I really like the color gambit or the color range on that camera. Now, compared to the Hero 3, the Hero 2 was, in my mind, the pinnacle of the GoPro style footage. Like, the colors are just freaking amazing. So I've got my Hero 2. It was charged last night. I need to find an SD card somewhere around the house, and then I can film a video. It'll be quite fancy.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, because the workshop is like I did a video a little while ago making fun of Harrison from Taps and Patience because he was like, "Oh, his workshop's so tight." I'm like, "Bro, do you have to walk sideways?"
Yeah, crab walk.
You have to walk sideways. You got plenty of space. What are you complaining about?
Yeah, I crab walk right here, and I crab walk on the other side of the machine. Yeah, it's the way.
Exactly, efficiency. Yeah, don't waste floor space. Put machines.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the best part is when you spend more money on machines, you can spend less money on food, so it gets easier to squeeze between the machines. It's like it's a self-repeating cycle.
Exactly.
Anyway,
so,
call to actions or Google things, or what are we doing?
Well, let's do call to actions first. So, where can people find you? Oh, you're drinking water now. Where can people find you, Curt?
Foundermachine.com. I have a bunch of blue pens coming out I think next Friday or Saturday by the time you're listening to this. So you can join the mailing list, join the lotteries, do what you like there. I actually put some code in the lottery now where people can look up stuff. Quite pleased with that. It's like an app sheet, big program thing. Quite pleased. I get an email every single week where people are like, "Am I in the lottery?" So now I have it. You can just enter your email and you can see if you're in the lottery.
Nice.
Anyway, sorry. That's an aside.
Is that blue? Blue or nebula?
This one's just going to be straight blue. Just blue anodized. So
nice. Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, you can find me at jspeceng.com. That's where you can find information on the anchor points and also on the frame lock utility knife. You can also find the podcast at thelonemachinist.com. There's a link there that'll take you through to the JSpec Engineering online store where you can get the link from the podcast webpage will take you to the podcast specific merch section, which also helps support the podcast. There's also a bunch of funny machinist shirts available on the JSpec online store. That's about everything. Otherwise, Instagram at JSpec Engineering, and you can see the shenanigans that I get up to in the workshop and through the development of the bringing to production of the anchor point, because that is what's taking up most of my free bandwidth at this point.
Nice. Actually, I got smart this weekend too, and I linked our podcast website on the media page of my site. I'm like, why is this not linked there? So now it's linked every which way. So you should be able to find it. Although if you're listening to this, you don't have to find this. So
if you're listening, you kind of know where to find us. But the episode of Taps and Patience that featured Curt when he, as it's put in our document, cheated on us and went to another podcast was a very good episode, like thoroughly entertaining episode.
I appreciate it, man. That was fun. It was enjoyable.
Yeah. No, their podcast's always entertaining. But AJ's running around like a crazy person at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's starting his Texas trip tomorrow. He leaves on his Texas trip, or no, like 2 hours ago or something. I'm on the Taps and Patience Discord, so I was chatting on there. I keep a close eye on that Discord. It's quite entertaining. Yeah. There's a lot of.
I gotta stay.
I'm assuming a lot of the Patreons signed up for the anchor point after you mentioned it in the podcast. Either that or the post you did over the weekend. One of the two, because I got I got a couple more signups to the newsletter for the anchor point.
Cool. Sick.
But awesome. So what have you been Googling this week?
Googling a bunch of stuff. I actually, right. Just recently, I Googled K110 tool steel because you say that a lot and people might not know, but K110 is
Oh
basically the
yeah.
same as D2. D2 and
Oh,
K110 are
okay.
very similar. So just for the other people in the world that don't know what K110 is, I didn't, so I had to look it up, which is kind of cool that your little machine was machining D2 without issues. Um, yeah, so that bunch of Voron related stuff, just printers, Voron, um, kind of going deep down that rabbit hole. I got to stay off Discord right now because I have like a bunch of Discords on Vorons and Reddit on Voron, and just I'm so deep down. It's just so enjoyable. Like sometimes I just want to turn my brain off and just that's yeah, it's such a cool process because the like even the manuals on those, it's just they're so beautiful. Like I've
Yeah,
just
the
been reading through
manuals
the
are
manual
insane.
because designed by engineers for like no holds
Yeah.
bar. Like it's just super cool to read through. Anyway, so my search history has just been full of that. I'll actually open it up real
Oh,
quick
someone
here,
was.
and
I was chatting
yeah,
to. Sorry, going to disrupt you on your
go
Voron
nuts.
thing. I might be
Yeah.
machining Voron parts out of aluminium for the
Oh,
local Voron
really?
community. Yeah. So one of the
Sick.
guys that follows me on Instagram, I think he actually listens to the podcast as well. He came past finally after like
Yeah.
weeks, and we were chatting. He's like, "No, he's got a couple of Vorons, and they're looking for someone to machine alley parts." I'm like, "Send them. I'll have a look.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, um, give it a bash. Like, really, it's what I do
That's a
for a
problem
living."
when you have. Well, it's a problem when you have like a full fledged machine shop in your garage. Because now I'm like, well, this part it could be machined. I'm like, I could machine it. I'm like, no, no, stop this, Kurt. Yeah, no, exactly,
You
right?
want?
Like it's
I'll give you the files for the beefcake.
no,
Everything on there is
no,
machined. Everything is
no,
machined or carbon fiber. So Dave
no.
was doing drones at the time. So like the cross member is a carbon fiber plate that we had made in China, and then I've got aluminium ends and aluminium motor mounts and some random plastic I had for a for the tensioning mechanism that is a compliant mechanism. Like there was
Yeah,
nothing at the time. We didn't cut any
yeah,
corners. Now it's
yeah.
outdated, but at the time we cut no corners.
Yeah, no, I have a huge fusion model of a printer I was designing too, but I'm like, no, no. If I'm going to build something, I'm going to split the difference. I'm not going fully everything made by me. I'll pick something that already works.
Yeah,
And
no,
yeah.
fair enough.
Anyway, how about you?
Okay,
What's in your Google history?
let's do the thing. So, what was I trying to check out of? Okay, let's ignore that. Wordle. I try and do the Wordle every day. I have a
Nice,
system.
cool.
My mom does the
Okay.
Wordle too. She's like, I got it in 2. I'm like, I got it in 4. The first 3 words are always the same 3 words. Unless it's one of those, I'm not getting it in less than 4. Because in those 3 words, I knock out 15 letters of the alphabet. There's no repeating
Oh, nice,
letters. So I
nice.
have a system, and it freaking works when I remember to play Wordle. Okay, I'm not going to mention that one because problematic. I was looking up ER collet arbors for my little lathe because I've got one ER16 to Morse taper collet, and I want to buy like another 3 so that I
Mm,
can just have my sensor drill, my tap, or I just swap the Morse taper collets out. But they're expensive, and I don't want to spend that much money on them. And by expensive, I mean like $25. I'm just being really
mm,
cheap because I use the lathe so little, like doesn't really make a difference. Um, oh yes, and then I was looking up some tariff things.
mm.
Industrial shredders because of Dylan from Protein
Oh
Machining.
yeah, yeah. That was a cool, or not Dylan, but uh, uh, his
Oh, Maury,
recent
sorry,
guest.
Maury
Yeah,
Manufacturing.
yeah. More manufacturing. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, Maury. I'm considering very much doing that just to annoy people. It's
As
also
if people
really good
hate you, but
packaging and saving the planet. Like that's my
yep.
excuse. Because that'll be something we'll chat about next week. Is the packaging for the Anchor Point production stuff. I've had to redo all the boxing.
Mm-hmm.
Emirates do a courier service now. Was looking into
Oh,
that. Yes,
cool.
Worldwide Express, Emirates Courier Express. I need to look into that so that'll stay open. Then I was looking up sturgeons to find out what their genus is because I watched a video from Max Fosh, which is, if you haven't seen Max Fosh's YouTube channel, it's friggin' great. He hatched caviar,
Okay. Yeah,
but he could only
yeah.
get carp milk, so he had to buy carp caviar. Because I'm like,
Yeah.
caviar is sturgeon. Sturgeon
Okay. Yeah.
and carp, as far as I know, are not in the same genus, so they can't crossbreed. Anyway, so I was Googling that. So I've left all my things open. Like, this is all over the show. Then I was looking for LED lights, which I found, looking at the Rand dollar and seeing how much more money I'm going to be making for selling the pallet system for the same price. Because,
Fair.
the dollar, unless it's just fallen through the floor, that can't be right. Sorry, just want to refresh this one. Okay, no, it hasn't fallen through the floor. It's gone. The rand has gotten weaker because our politicians here are amazing. Then I was looking at Osmo Pocket because
Yep.
I kind of want to get one, but they're freaking expensive. Yeah, that, and then I was looking at pneumatic collar chuck clamp things, which I'm going to just build one because it's what I do for a living.
Nice. A whole mixed bag of fun things.
Yeah, no, like I keep all my tabs open now so that we can go. I don't have to think about it. I just go look what I've been Googling, and there's always interesting things in there. But yeah, that's what I've been Googling. So yeah, what are you up to today, Curt?
Today I'm going to do some pen polishing and start finishing up packing all the orders. That'll be
Nice.
get all these out of the way, and then I can. That's why I'm kind of doing a staggered launch, and then I'll do the rest of the pens launch next week, just so I'm not inundated and packing orders.
So you're
just
not doing a
continuously.
boring thing for too long.
Yeah, well, and then I'm not sitting on people's mind. Like I like to try to ship within, ideally I like to ship same day. But I don't want to hold on to people's mind, even though people are totally fine with it. I always stipulate it on the listing of how long the lead is, but this one is 3 to 5 days, so like to get them all
got
out.
a bit of time. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
100%. Okay.
Yeah. How about you? What's your tomorrow looking like? Or your today? What are you going to talk about?
The rest of my day is hoping that my stupid fucking dog doesn't do tornado maneuvers all night. Because last night she was restless, so she'd stand up and spin on the bloody spot, work Danica up like 8 times through the night. If she does that tonight, she's getting kicked out. Anyway, tomorrow, going to finish off that drone landing gear stuff, throw that in vacuum bags, and then hopefully build a mooring point so that I can put my production version of the pallet system into my machine. And then I'll probably go pick up some 5C collets so that I can do test dial pins and make sure that whole thing's going to work so that I can start rolling into production on the anchor points. But
Sick.
yeah, that is the plan. Whether it goes to is a different situation.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah,
Nice.
like we had. Oh, one of the things I forgot to mention was the power outages, the random freaking power outages we had on Friday. It was raining, so the power went off. Then Saturday, I ran across the road to go chat to my neighbor. I look over and I'm like, "Hey, my garage looks a bit dark." Power off for like 2 hours for no reason.
Yeah, you sounded
was
a
a
little
little
bit testy in those videos. Yeah, I was like, "Ooh, Jamie's hot."
Yeah, no, I was furious, but yeah, it is what
Don't
it is.
take that out of context. I meant you were angry. I mean, you're a good-looking dude, though. So you could be hot. whatever works.
Nice. But yeah, anyway, Shweta. Okay, cool. So thank you everybody for listening. It is greatly appreciated. If you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please give us a 5-star review. If you're on YouTube, please hit a like and subscribe there to get the new episodes. If you're on either of those, we're on the other one too, just in case for some reason you want to listen on both. It would be appreciated. But yeah, thank you everybody for listening. We will see you same time next week.
Take care, all.